Hi, welcome to the Vaguely Anime Podcast. I'm one of the hosts this evening, Michael, followed by other host Kat.
Hi.
And other host Sage.
That's me.
And it's Anime Club.
Yay.
Yay!
Woohoo!
Can't wait to find out Kat hated another one of my picks. But yeah, so it's Anime Club. We're here to talk about a certain scientific railgun, which is one of the shows that made me realize JC Staff doesn't suck. So if you've only ever watched One Punch Man Season 2 and you think they suck, you're wrong. So yeah, I guess I'll give the little synopsis.
Wait, but that came out recently.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
the show's old, so they started sucking
But how-
later.
No.
old
They
is-
only sucked because they didn't have the time and money to do it.
Oh.
So people are like, oh, they're just a bad animation studio, and I'm like, no. If they have the time and money, they can do good work.
But when did this show come out? Because it's
2010.
not that old.
2010.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
It's old.
they've done.
That is old.
They've done all of the shows that are in the umbrella
Right.
of this series.
I don't know. It didn't. I guess it doesn't. That's a good thing because I didn't think it was that old. It's not like the animation is aged. If
Yeah,
that
the
makes
first
sense.
the first season of this show was 2009 to 2010.
Huh. Good for them.
Yeah. So I guess brief little thing about it. It's about people with psychic abilities, following mainly a character that has the nickname of Railgun. She's a level 5, which is supposed to be the most powerful version of Esper's, and she gets into some shit because she's
Well, I feel
strong
like
and she's like, I'm gonna help people.
It does follow her, but I feel like it doesn't at the same time.
Yeah.
'Cause
It
it's
follows
an
a lot of people.
ensemble.
Yeah.
It follows a friend group, I'd
Yeah,
say.
because it's an ensemble.
Yeah.
Which
and-
kind of threw me off because based off the title, I thought it was going to be mainly about the one girl.
Yeah, but no, it follows an ensemble cast. And sadly, Shirai, her best friend,
Such a piece of shit.
is the worst. She sucks.
If
She
I
brings
hear
it down.
Sissy one more fucking
Literally,
time, I'm gonna lose it.
Yeah.
Shirai has no empathy and is just such a brat the whole time.
Shirai sucks except for the moments where she's kind of cool.
Yeah,
And then she sucks.
I think she's smart and she's good at her job.
She's
but
actively very smart. She's
she's just
very
kind of
good
a
at her
piece of
job.
shit.
Yeah, and she has really badass moments with her powers, but
yeah,
she kind of sucks as a
Yeah.
person.
yeah,
She gets very annoying, and anytime the show decides that it's going to do some fan service, it's always her, and you're like, this is somebody in middle school, and this is weird.
yeah.
But
Sure
they're
is.
all 14, so you're like, I know it's the age in Japan, but this is still weird,
Yeah.
especially because there's nothing going on for
But
that.
San's a little weird too.
Sutton's a little weird, but not in the same
Not
way.
not as
Yes.
extreme.
Yes.
San-
But if someone kept doing that to me, I would fucking punch them in
Roundhouse
the face.
them.
Yeah, literally.
Well, yeah, but
I
Uehara's a
know-
pushover.
I know. I was about to say, I know she's too nice to do something, but someone else should have done it for her.
Plus,
they should have stuck up for her.
I will say that they never show Uehara's underwear ever anyway, so
Yeah, they
you're not
don't.
getting the fan service out of it. It is
Yeah.
just for the two being kind of quirky in a way.
Also, so it's sorry to diverge real quick, but when she gets a roommate, I was so confused because I was like, wait, I thought her and Son
I thought
Oh,
San
yeah,
were
no.
roommates. But then
I was like,
thought
they
it-
just kicked you out. Damn, that's
Yeah.
cold.
But then I thought it made sense because she always went looking for her.
Yeah,
she went
then
into the
I realized
office
they
a bunch
weren't
of times. So I was
roommates.
like, I guess they wouldn't live
Yeah.
together then.
But
But I thought they were the whole time.
Yeah.
I guess just we could do a quick overall.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like it's at least important to not have a not spoiler version. So Sage.
Yeah, overall, I think this show is it's cute. I think it's, well done. Everything is pretty average. But it's not it's average, but it's bad. If that makes sense. I think it's on the better end of average. It was definitely an enjoyable watch. I think it's weird because there's times where I'm like, oh, this is interesting, but then the next episode is completely random, unrelated to what we're doing, and I was like, okay, you're kind of throwing me for a loop here, you're losing me a little bit, and then it would go back to being interesting again.
The middle is weirdly it keeps kind of following a vibe and then losing the
Yeah,
vibe
it,
and
it
then
was
following.
really weird that they kept doing these one character focused episodes, but they weren't anything interesting to the character. It was oh, the girl on the police force likes to play old video games. Let's follow her for a whole 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Okay, that seems random.
Yeah, it's definitely like the little like the middle to latter half is just like, all right, we're just gonna have character episodes for some reason, but I guess it's just to bring you up from the heaviness that was like the end of the beginning arc.
Right, the first, which I get it, but like I think there needed to be a little more balance because I don't remember the first half feeling like that.
Yeah, and I think it also, without you guys having watched the second season, I think it also it does it for the fact that like the second season just kind of goes into everything.
Right.
So like you have the first season set up and then the second season just goes off. And you're like, all right, well, you know, you've gotten your little character episodes. But without watching that, I agree. Like even knowing the second season, I was like, this is a little more than I remember.
Also, I think it's very funny that whenever they keep trying to do like a twist villain, and every single
I was
time
never surprised.
you know right away.
Yeah.
The second you see that person introduced for the first time, you're like, all right, that's the bad guy right now.
Yeah.
I like to think that it's because we're not middle schoolers.
I guess.
So
but,
like it's just a twist to them because they're not smart enough to realize
guess,
that not all adults are trustworthy.
But it's so obvious every time. Also, I do think this is a funny little through line, but I'm like, anyone who's into science is evil.
Yeah.
If you're a researcher, evil.
Pretty much.
That's the main through line.
Well,
yeah,
basically,
it is.
like the moral of the like the science versions of the show are basically just that the leaders of Academy City are all pretty awful people because they are just doing tests on children.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Does it count as a spoiler? I feel like it.
I guess I could just I could just say, hey, spoiler, I guess.
You just
Anyway,
cut it out. It wasn't
yeah.
that
It's
important.
fine.
You could just
Yeah.
say it again later.
Anyway,
All right, so you finally get to hear my opinion. I thought it was so meh. Like, I thought it did have its moments, but boy, could this show have been 12 episodes.
Yes, I agree.
Like,
I did not need to be 24
It's
episodes.
not like this is a 15 episode show where it goes on a little bit too long.
Right.
This goes double. Like, it's way too long. If you put all the interesting moments together, and including character development, which I think is important, like not for the policewoman or like, but the people it did matter when they put that in, I'm pretty sure it would have been like 9 episodes maybe. Like I don't, but fine. If you want to add like a couple of things to make it a 12 episode show, sure, that's fine. But because it was 24 episodes, I felt like it dragged on so badly. So I found myself, I mean, obviously I'm not saying my rating now, but I found it really hard trying to think of what I would rate it because there were moments that I thought it was much higher of a show. And then there were moments that it was much lower that I guess I just got to average myself out to
Yeah,
like.
you got to find the median.
Yeah, like how did I feel most of the time, or I don't know, we'll reveal that later, but I just thought it was very mediocre of a show. But I would also agree with Sage that it leaned more better than like bad mediocre, though I feel like it did kind of have times that it was bad mediocre, but that's my no spoilers. It's better to talk about
Right.
specifics.
Yeah.
yeah, I was messaging Sage and I was like, this first season definitely feels more mediocre than I remembered it being when I first watched it.
Yeah.
Which this is also one of those shows that I started watching like right when I started getting back into anime.
So this is one of like the earlier shows that you watched?
Like, yeah, like I mean, still college because that's when I started picking up anime again. But
Right.
like, it was one of the beginning shows
Right.
in that period of time, and I still think it's pretty fun. Like, I agree that there are definitely moments where you're just like, this didn't really need to be here at the moment. But like
boy, I wish I knew I could skip this episode.
Yeah.
Like,
but like, I also kind of understand why they exist because like it is also trying to just be like a bit of like more of a not slice of life. I don't think that's the right way to
no,
put it. But
there were
like,
definitely episodes that I would.
but yeah,
Yeah,
like where
definitely
it's
had, like,
just
I feel like slice of life would be like the subgenre.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like where it is having its story, and then it's like, well, here's the downtime because nothing is happening at the moment. They are just having their life at school.
Right.
And then, here's the little mini plot, and then that gets resolved, and then they're back to their life at school. And then, oh, hey, that plot that was before is now back.
Right.
And now they can, resolve it. So although it still feels like those aren't super necessary, I at least understand why they exist. Because it does make the show feel a little more, lived in, like an average person's life of just, you have those high moments, and now you're just back to being in school.
I just felt like it was too much.
I would agree. Like I said,
Yeah.
it definitely feels more mediocre.
Yeah.
And
Mundane, as you said.
yeah, mundane. Although I understand why they exist, I think it probably could have been cut down a little more and condensed. But I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is an adaptation from a light novel and not a manga. So
I was going to say, because I saw at the end credits, it said something about Project Railgun. And usually when something's labeled that, where it's like Project X, Y, and Z, it's usually not based off of a manga. Oh. It's either like a light novel or an original.
Yeah,
so I was going to ask you if it was an original.
Yeah, no. So it is a light novel,
Okay.
which, again, started from Magical Index.
Right.
And then a lot of people liked that. And then they were like, hey, this other character's really cool. You should do something else with that. And so he was like, all right.
Is Magical Index more mundane or better, do you think?
The first season, from what I can remember, I think the first season of both shows are a little more mundane.
Because I thought he was interesting.
So they ramp up to such a degree in each following season. But if I remember correctly, the first season of Magical Index has a bit more going on because of the fact that the whole point is that it's science versus magic, because there is just legitimately magic. And these people are just in this science city and what the fuck's his name? Tomura?
I don't know. She
Yeah, I
doesn't
don't-
really say his name. She's just like that guy.
Toma. It's Toma. He's just some schmuck. That just gets
Some schmuck.
Yeah, that just ends up in the situation.
Nice.
Later in the show, it's not a spoiler, but later in the season, you see a random nun girl.
She's in.
She's
this one as
she's
well.
the main girl of Index. She is the magical Index.
Oh, where she's wearing the hat?
Yeah. The nun character who just is when at one point where they're somebody's been eating all of our food, so we're struggling to
Yes.
deal with this. And she starts attacking a robot that stole her donut.
Right.
Yeah. That's the main girl of Magical Index.
Gotcha.
And so that's their whole thing. But I would say that the first season of Index is probably a little more active from what I remember. But
So did you recommend this just so you could make us watch the next coming seasons because those are better?
mostly I just wanted you guys to watch the second season.
Okay.
I mean, I think it's all very good, but there's too much to recommend all of it. It would that would just be my recommendations for a while. So I feel like it's pointless. If you guys enjoy it and then just go on to watch it, cool. Then we can just have an episode about it. But I recommended this just because this is what I also started with, and I think it does a more interesting job at telling the second season story, because the second season for Railgun is I believe the second season of Magical Index. They tell the same story but from different points of view.
Oh, that's cool.
And I think it's a little more interesting of a point of view from Railgun's perspective than it is Magical Index.
Gotcha.
So that was also kind of why I recommended it. But yeah, I think it's still fine. I would still recommend somebody to watch this just because I think the rest of all of the media is very good. And I think it's a nice, kind of jumping in point, even though it's not the start. I think it, gets you familiar with enough of the characters and everything and going on that, when I went to Magical Index, I was pretty solid. I was like, all right, I already know this character and, everything else. And I also still think it does a little more of an interesting job from the later arcs perspective than what Magical Index does.
Right.
So, yeah. Spoilers from
Woo!
here on out. So, leave if you didn't watch it. Anyway. Who wants to start?
I would just like to say that I don't even remember his name. That's how unmemorable this guy is. The one with the glasses, and he was getting beat up, and he's like, "If no one's gonna protect
the
me, I'll
bomb-
just kill
Oh, yeah, the
everyone."
bomber
guy.
Yeah, the bomb guy.
Yeah.
I don't think. Yeah, he wasn't important, but I think that's for a reason.
Yeah,
He's just a loser.
He's just a loser. But I was like, this logic is so backwards.
Yeah, or because Judgment's never helped him.
Yeah.
He's gonna kill all of Judgment.
Yeah.
basically.
I was like, bro, you need to chill the fuck out.
But
now.
also, I don't think his logic is supposed to make much
no,
sense.
of course not.
Yeah, I mean,
But,
Because
like,
he's
crazy
literally
people.
insane. Yeah.
But yeah, so
The level upper was just making him more insane.
I think it was before before the episode where it's like primarily focused on him, we see like a flash of him in the episode before where he's getting beat up.
Yeah, Makoto's
And I
there.
went, that's the bad guy. Literally before they were even like, oh, this is a problem right now, I was like, he's gonna be a villain.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
Makoto's like accidentally a Judgment officer for a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she stops him and he's like, fuck you. Like, get
Yeah.
away from me. You haven't helped me. Or he was like, you were too late. They already beat me up. And she was like, well, that wasn't very nice. I just stopped them.
Yeah, seriously.
He was like, yeah, I could have just let him keep beating you up for longer.
She should have been like, all right, I'll just beat you up in their proxy.
Just like kicking the shit out of him.
Yes. That would be so funny. Also, I thought the episode where it was them like doing like the swimsuit modeling.
Oh, like the like calm down episode after the baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I thought the like gag of them being like out in the like blizzard and then in the desert. I thought that was a very cute little gag. I like
Yeah,
that.
but they're like, why is there actual extremes in this
why
simulation?
do they have these settings? This is awful.
Yeah. And then just like Congo trying to be like hype herself up and not know how to make fucking curry at all, and then she gains the friends out of it.
Oh my
She's
God,
like, I'm sorry, I
love
lied
those
to you.
two girls. They're just like, I didn't know you put strawberries and
Yeah.
oranges in curry. I was like, have either of you ever seen curry before? Because if you never
don't-
saw it, I could
They
understand.
don't know how to make it. There's a sauce on items. They just thought it was like strawberries or something, I guess.
Well, no, because she said it was her own family
family
recipe.
recipe.
That's why.
So they've never seen that one. But I do like that, like they kind of become her like
Her little friends.
Yeah, her little friends, because like she just opens up to them. I'm like, she's like, I'm sorry, I didn't want to seem like I didn't know what I was talking about, and they're like, oh, like we don't either. Like we could just ask them for help.
We can just ask for help. Also, I do like the constant gag that Congo is just there to be like kidnapped.
And she never finishes her line. I am, what is it, Mitsuki Congo from Tokyo Dai Middle School, and it just gets like cut off at
Yeah.
some points, and she never finishes it until I think the last episode.
So I actually was like until the last episode, or maybe the second to last episode, I was like, wait, does she even have a power?
Oh yeah, I think that
Yeah,
was
so-
supposed to be like the point.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
don't
everybody in Tokyo Dai is at least a level 3 or up.
Okay.
That's
'cause
that's
she
the
says
only
she's a
school
level-
that is like
she
that.
says she's a level 4 in the
Yeah.
first episode.
Oh, she does. I don't
Yeah,
remember
when
saying
she's
that.
talking,
I
because
just
they're
knew
doing
she
like
had something.
they're doing like their evaluations or whatever.
Yeah, during the evaluations.
And she says to
Oh.
Shirai that she's like,
Oh,
"Oh, I'll
yes,
get to
yes,
level
by the
5
pool.
before
Okay,
you," because
yeah.
they're both level 4s.
Yeah.
And then I remember, I think like halfway through, I was like, "Wait, does this bitch even have powers?"
Again, I think that's just the joke.
Yeah.
Is that she never got to show off until the final
Yeah.
fight.
She
Yeah.
never helps. She's
Yeah.
just there.
Yeah,
Um,
there to be kidnapped.
Yeah, and then she finally does help, and she actually does a great job. She literally rescues Misaka
Yeah.
off screen because she's like, it was nothing to me.
Oh, also the like constant worship of Misaka. I was like, I'm a little over this.
Yeah.
In general, or from
In general.
oh.
well, I think it's just because you don't
Every
see
person
any
on
other level
Earth knows
5s.
her.
Yeah, you don't see any other level 5s, and she is like absurdly athletic and really strong.
I
So
feel
everybody
like
just knows of her.
It would have been better if they showed that people also did that towards another one. Like if they just briefly mentioned another character that
Yeah, do we
like
see any other level
No.
5s?
Nope.
so
The next season, a bunch of level 5s.
Wait,
Oh.
also, can I ask a
the
question?
blonde girl. I keep seeing that fucking right.
Oh.
I assume her. I keep seeing the poster thing.
Yeah.
Can
I
I, ask
hate
a
her.
Can I ask a question? The guy that she's like likes but doesn't like, is he a level
Toma?
5? I don't know his name.
Right?
Oh,
That's
yeah,
what you said
yeah.
who he
Kamijo, Tomura Kamijo.
Is he a level 5?
No.
Oh.
If you want to know what he is, that's in Magical Index, but I can also just tell you if you want to know. It's in the
just
first
tell me.
season. Hey, spoilers for the first season of Magical Index. So it's it's a little complicated, but the shorthand version of it is that like he was basically he is like kind of magical, and he has a divine curse on his left hand, I believe.
Aren't they all magical? Don't they all have magical powers?
No, they all have science powers of the brain.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
They're all like.
I'm sorry.
I mean, psychics are inherently not magical, but
Okay.
I'm just saying it is a human ability. Whatever.
I understand what you're saying, but like, if you're throwing around flames,
But no,
that's
like,
magic.
but the show makes a distinct difference, especially via the name of Magical Index and Scientific Railgun. Like they are inherently different things. And he has a magical ability, or divine curse, and I believe his left hand that basically cancels out anything. Like, so the Esper abilities, the magic, like if he touches it, it cancels you out.
But does it wear him out? Because when he's fighting her in the field, he like deflates.
Well, he deflates. Well, he does it as a joke.
Yeah, he was faking
he was
it.
faking it.
Okay, I thought he was just like, I'm over this.
No, his
No.
ability doesn't do anything to him. But I mean, he gets tired just because he's also running around dodging her shit.
True.
And he also has to be paying attention to not get cut apart because he can only block with the one hand.
Right.
So
I have a question.
Yeah.
So you say that I'm curious because she's in his season as well.
Yeah.
Is it the same scenes? Or they're like different?
Some of them cross paths in the same stuff. And his ability being that he cancels out shit is important. Like that's obviously in his show, but also it like lends to the rest of the series and hers too.
Right.
So some of them are the same, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there's a point in the first season where she confronts him again, and he doesn't remember her, right? I think.
With the soda?
Later in
like
season,
it's still in the early part, I think, but like
she confronts him again. Okay, so the first time we see them together, it's in the alleyway. And then the second time we see them,
Is that the mall?
it might be.
Or is that the third time?
I don't know if it's the mall. I feel like that's the third time. Is that the mall?
it might be something else. I don't remember exactly.
I can't remember now. Because I know.
Was
it might be a different time.
Oh, with the little girl?
Was the swimsuit and the little girl the same time, or are those separate? Because that might be the missing one.
No, the swimsuit and the little girl was the same time.
Okay.
It might be a different thing
Then
that I'm
I can't
remembering.
remember.
It's fine. But
Also-
so yeah, that's his whole thing is that he cancels out stuff. That's why he can fight her with, relatively speaking, no
I feel
issue.
like he
but
didn't
like he is,
remember her. Like I feel like I do remember that, but I can't.
but he is a level 0. He has no Esper abilities at all. He is not.
Gotcha.
The only reason he can do it is because he was divinely cursed.
Gotcha.
And that's like season 3 level of his show shit. That
I was
like
gonna
That
gets
you
into
actually
what
find out.
like why
Oh.
because I'm forgetting her name, but
The nun girl?
Yeah, the Index I think is actually what they call her, but she mentions what's going on in the first
Gotcha.
season, but you don't find out why the fuck he has any of that, I think, until like season 3. Because then it's a whole thing.
Oh, back to the little girl for a second. So the first time we see her, she's like, "Oh, I lost my bag," right?
Yeah.
And then the second time, she's like, "Why was she even with that guy?"
She asked him to
Because-
like help her shop.
Yeah,
or something.
because she was like, "You were nice to me, and you're my big brother."
Something along those lines. And I was like, if this little girl comes back again, they need to punt her across a field. This girl is such a liability. Good Lord.
I think that they do a really good job at making children seem very cute in this show.
I think so too, but like, damn.
The-
Does this girl have no parents?
Like like all the kids that the scene when the first Doctor
Yeah.
of the primary villain for the first arc
The
is like
undresser.
I was a teacher.
The undresser.
I was a
Who
teacher
never
once.
undresses again. Like she just stops.
I know, she just
at,
stops
like,
undressing.
yeah.
That's not true. They spill like shit on her skirt. She starts undressing. When
No, that's
After
in the
that,
flashback.
She never does it again.
That's not true at all.
Really?
She only addressed
Literally,
I don't.
in
When
the
she
second
comes
half
back,
of the show,
she doesn't. When she comes
she-
back,
she
I don't
doesn't
remember doing
undress.
it.
I'm pretty sure they spill something on her fucking tights, and then she goes to undress again. And,
I think that was the
No,
first
that's in
half.
the first half.
After she goes to jail, jail
stops-
changed her. She
yeah.
didn't undress again.
She realized, oh, I'm in jail. I probably shouldn't be getting naked
Yeah,
now.
I don't think it was because I
Jail
thought that was
hardened
such
her.
a weird thing to have, and then all of a sudden it was just like dropped.
I feel like when she showed up again, it didn't like after she got out of jail. Like
I
there
don't
wasn't a
think
point.
she
No,
did
no. I
not
mean,
get
what I'm
undressed.
saying is after she got out of jail for those like 3 episodes where she showed up, I don't think there was a point where she needed to undress.
There wasn't
again.
a point of her needing to undress in the other one. She was like, "It's hot out."
Well,
and then
yeah,
she
but
just
I'm-
fucking undressed.
But I know, but I mean, like she was constantly running around. I feel like there wasn't a moment where she's like, "I'm gonna take off my blouse while doing this car chase."
I also really like her like off-brand Lambo that she drives. I thought
Yeah.
that was really funny.
Yeah, she just has a Lamborghini, and you're like,
I was
"Damn,
like,
this bitch
what
making
kind
money."
of doctor are you that you were driving a Lamborghini? Damn.
How fast is that car that Misaka, like, she's just on top of the car and they're just
No,
fucking
she's
driving.
using-
She's using her electric. Yeah,
Electricity
that
as, like,
makes
the
it-
magnet.
I
she was
just
keeping
like-
herself on the car.
Oh, got you. I was just like, how is this supposed to be possible? I guess that makes sense.
I also I mentioned this to Kat. I think I think the OP slaps personally.
It doesn't. Skip every time.
Nah,
Really? I
Sorry.
listened to it almost every
Yeah,
single time. I thought
hell
this-
yeah.
That was one thing that I forgot to mention. I was gonna say boring show, good ass music. I liked the outros as well.
I'd
thought it
actually like the outros better than the OPs. I don't know, for something about, especially the first. Is it the same or do they change the
It
song?
halfway,
That's
both
what
are
I thought.
changed.
That's what I thought, but I wasn't sure because the first time I heard, it, I was like, "Is this
Is
just
this
the same song?"
Yeah, no, because the first one is only my railgun, and the second one's level 5. And they're,
Sure.
I believe every single OP is done by the band Fripside, which for all of the seasons.
Uh-huh.
And I think for the most part they only put out bangers. I think that they are all pretty good. I think I have most of the OPs from Railgun on my phone.
Yeah, skip every time.
No,
Damn,
sorry.
I thought they were great.
That was like my one thing getting me by when I thought it was fucking
Really?
boring as
so,
hell.
so I remember I was
Got to
watching the
listen to
first
the
episode
music.
and I was like, "All right, we'll watch the OP, see what we think." And then I was
always
like,
at least once for everything.
No, you have to watch. You have to give it a fair chance. You can't just skip it and then not know. Same with like the ending credits. You have to watch it at least once so you
Yeah.
know. But yeah, after that first one, I was like, "Yeah, I don't need to see this again."
No, I fucked
when I
with
was
it.
running out of time, that's when I started skipping it, but not specifically because I wanted to.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
I
yeah, no, I
fucks
just-
with it. Plus, I think that this show has those like the great OP in the final fight moments. I always fucks with those.
Yeah, I thought that was very that
during
was well
during
done.
the fetus and during the
Yeah,
twice.
fetus, bro.
fetus
Yeah.
baby thing. Barf.
Yeah.
But I think, so Kat said that too, and I was like, I think that's the purpose though.
No,
It's
yeah,
supposed
I
to be
can't
fucked up.
Yeah.
I can't imagine they were trying to make it look nice.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it was purposely very fucked up because it's
Who
just
thought of that? I mean, the person who wrote it, obviously.
Yeah.
But, like, why we're just like, you know what? I'm going to make all of these things? A fetus. A growing, disgusting
because
fetus.
it's I guess just because it's the powers being like all the powers becoming their own thing, and they're basically just like being born into something.
I hate to be that guy, but during the fetus fight and it had all the like tentacles,
Yeah.
I was like, you just know
Oh.
there is Dojin out there
Oh.
of this exact thing. Come on, you're setting
I
yourself
really
up.
hope not.
I haven't seen any.
I haven't seen it either. I didn't go looking for it, but I was that was my immediate thought. I was like, yep, that exists.
But I think that fight is pretty cool because it also helps set up like how much she holds back in every fight. Like
Yeah.
when they were like, oh, it's blocking her electricity, but it's fucking incinerating the fucking baby because
Yeah.
of the heat. And then like she pulls out all the fucking metal or iron from the floor, from the ground and everything. Like because there's that, and then in the same vein of like people underestimating her during the final fight on the like rail on the highway,
Right.
And she's like, I can get out of the range of your coins. Like, what the fuck are you gonna do? And she's like, oh, I can do more. I just only use coins.
Yeah.
And she Kuroko drops the fucking like metal claw, and
Yeah.
she just punches that shit into the fucking stratosphere.
Into the ether.
Yeah. That shit was
Sends
rad.
it.
Yeah, that shit was rad.
Also, when they show that, like, the evil doctor lady, I was like, that bitch is dead. You are not going to tell me she is alive right now.
Well,
brought her back.
when she actually gets like
Pulverized?
pulverized into the fucking wall.
Yeah, I was like, that bitch is dead. And then of course, like in like the last scenes, they're like, oh, she's coming too. I'm like, no, she's
Yeah.
not.
No,
She broke all her bones. All right.
She is dead. But I really like how they give the motivation for the characters, because it is purely just like, oh, these scientists were just doing their job, and then
Yeah, science got a science,
yeah.
but like extremes.
and then like the one scientist is like, put on the task of taking care of these kids, and she fucking hates it until she doesn't, and
Yeah.
then she realizes just how fucked up all this shit is when the guy's like, fuck it, keep running the procedure, we don't need to put them to the hospital. And it's just like the entire point is that most of the people running, like, because she brings up too during her arc, and then later when like the arc finally meets the end, is like,
right.
you don't like where she's questioning Misaka, and she's like, do you really know what they're doing with any of the data of any of the children in this entire city? Like, no, why are you trusting them to deal with that? And she's like, oh, but why would they all be evil? And she's like, but you don't know if they are or aren't.
Right. You're just putting your like blind faith into it.
Yeah. And I like that this season is a lot of like the questioning behind a lot of the things, and then the next seasons really like run with that of like just how fucked up all the things that they were trying to do are, just for this imaginary level 6 thing.
So for the first Doctor Lady, I didn't really mind her being like the main antagonist, but then the second Doctor,
But she's like a fake antagonist.
right?
Like she's
Because-
trying
but
to do
I
it for a
think-
good
I,
cause.
I
yeah,
think
but I
they
liked-
explain, they explain her well. But then for the second Doctor Lady, she went from being like normal, reasonable, and then they did a close up of her like smiling like
Yeah.
sinisterly, and I was like, "Up, shit's hitting the fan."
Yeah.
But
and then
you
but
could tell
she just,
from the beginning that
I
she
know,
was already like.
but then she just goes off the fucking rails
Yeah.
crazy,
she
and
was
I was like,
always off the rails. She was just hiding it.
I was like, what happened to this like composure you had?
Yeah, I think it's purely just
Fake.
because she didn't need to hide it anymore. She got
guess.
all of the things she needed.
It just felt like such an extreme switch that I was like, I don't. Okay, this
Like,
is a
because
lot.
the first girl, Kiyama,
yeah,
like I like that when she's being taken away too, she's like, this isn't gonna stop me from scheming, and I will keep trying to figure out how to save these kids. And
I
if
don't
you
get
don't,
why they were. Well, like I understand in the scheme of things why they were trying to stop, but I don't get why Misaka and Shirai were trying to stop her. I was just like, she obviously has a good reason, and they're just
Well,
like actively just not letting her do her thing.
what, the first time?
After when they're sending her to jail.
Well, because they didn't learn what was going on until Misaka beat her and then got her memories when she synced
Yeah,
up.
and then she was still trying to stop her.
well, yeah.
No,
but
no, no.
if that-
Because then she lets go of her, and then the fucking fetus starts, and she's like, "Oh, okay, I got to deal with that."
yeah,
She stops fighting her, and then she willingly is like, "All right, I'll go to jail. Like
now.
I did some wrong
'Cause she's
shit."
still-
But she said to like her, like this isn't gonna stop me,
Yeah.
and then that made it.
I don't
like
think
Misaka
she-
was still gonna stop her, and I'm
No, no,
like,
so,
why are
so
I
what
gonna
she said
stop
is,
her?
I'm not gonna stop planning, and if you don't like the plan I come up with, then you can try to stop me again.
Yeah, and then she does. She even brings it up
Yeah.
to her that she.
But that's because Misaka thought she was going about it the wrong way again. Like Misaka said that she
I
was
thought she
going.
was doing the right
Misaka,
thing always.
no, because when she was getting taken away, Misaka was like, "I am going to find a way to help those children," and she was like, "I am going to too, and if you don't like my plan, stop me." So when she comes back, and Misaka's like, "No, it seems like your plan is wrong again," because she's just going off what she understands.
but she's doing it in like an underhanded way. I
Yeah,
think
and
that's
so
the
and
thing.
so
Should've let her.
when the lady that
Would've been
shows
easier.
well, yeah, but when the lady that shows up, she thinks she's good, so she's like, "You're going about this the wrong way again. I think I should stop
She
you."
just wasn't dumb.
Oh,
Just let it
also
be.
those kids that were like comatose,
Yes.
when they wake up, you know those kids are vegetables.
Oh yeah, they probably
They
can't.
sitting up and talking.
Yeah.
No
Our teacher.
muscle,
I was like,
no muscle mass at all. I was
Yeah.
like, you have been in this coma for like what, at least 3 years?
Yeah.
You
No,
are,
way longer.
It's
It's gotta be
yeah.
like
because what they're
8 years.
elementary
Something like
school
that. I
when
don't
they
think-
go
yeah.
into the comas, but
Yeah.
they're all in middle school, so it can't be that long.
So don't you think it's like 5 to like 14?
I don't know.
I'm thinking it's like 9 years.
I don't know, but
I think they were in there for a while.
Yeah.
they are vegetables.
They are
They were
they are the
fine.
same age as at least Ueharu.
And
That's the
didn't
first
you say
year.
they're all 14?
No,
she's
no,
not 14
because
then.
because Misaka is a second year.
Yeah,
So she's
Misaka's is
13?
Misaka's 14.
Yuri-
Misaka is
Uehara
14.
is
So
13.
the other girls are 13?
I think so. 13 to 14 at least. Yeah, I believe.
Also, I didn't get the whole thing about like Misaka being embarrassed about having like girly or like young.
Yeah,
pajamas.
Kuroko's age is put to 12 to 13.
Okay.
Misaka is 14 to 15.
Okay. Having like young pajamas because I was like, you're 14 years old. What else are you gonna fucking
Literally
wear?
everybody
Yeah.
makes fun of the fact that she
And
likes
and
kitty,
then-
and
like
then
girl,
they're
like kitty
talking
shit.
about, like,
even
oh,
even the young kids that are like, oh, who the fuck would like goddamn the frog that I'm
Yeah.
forgetting the name of,
Right.
Gekida.
Yeah.
They're like, why would we like Gekida? And she's like,
I
yeah,
like
why
it.
would I like Gekida?
But yeah, I didn't get that because I'm like, you're 14, and then the other girls they were talking about like, don't you
Fucking
want
12
have?
to 13-year-old with fucking lingerie.
Yeah,
like,
seriously,
all of
I was
this
like-
shit.
They're like going through all of her underwear, and she's like, oh yeah, what if you need
She
this?
says,
And what if
like,
you need
you
this?
need it for this reason, and you need this one for this reason. I'm like, this is absolutely fucking disgusting.
I
Like,
also thought it was
no.
really funny in the like bikini episode where Shirai comes out with that like barely
tiny, like, not
The
covering
micro
anything.
bikini?
the
Yeah.
micro bikini because I was like, because it was funny because one, she has like no chest because she's 13 years old.
Yeah.
But so it's just these teeny tiny little triangles. It just looks.
And she's like, oh, this is just, I wish they had something less tame. And all of them are like, I'd say I'd be shocked, but it just
Yeah.
makes sense.
And then I thought it was good when who's like the older girl on
the
one with
one
the
also in
glasses?
yeah, the one
Judgment.
with the glasses.
I can't remember her name.
I can't remember her
The
name,
milk
but she was in like the biker
drinking
gang.
Yeah.
Yeah, where she was in the biker gang, and she's and the
And she
guy
comes out of the dressing room and she's got like big old bitties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, wow, you really filled out your shit. And she's like, of course, I drink milk every day.
Yeah, but that was such a weird, like, and then when Biscuit was just like, wow, he's talking about our chest again, but it somehow wasn't insulting. And I was like, no, I think you should have been insulted.
I get where they're like-
he
Yeah.
did say that you were flat.
No,
Like,
he didn't.
I would've been offended.
He didn't say that they were flat chested, but so that's why she's like,
In that many
again,
words.
yeah, she's like,
Yeah.
again, I feel like I should be insulted, but I'm not.
I don't know. I feel like there was parts of this story where I was like, I kind of wish they would do more of. Because I kind of wish like that whole thing lasted
Oh yeah,
more
Toma
than 2
Toma
episodes.
is older than Toma is 15 to 16, so he's
That's
a
the-
grade above.
Oh,
but
that's
yeah.
the guy with
Yeah.
the hand?
Mhm.
Index, yeah.
Okay. What was I saying? But yeah,
You were
so
saying-
the girl with the glasses, like that little story arc about like her and her gang leader boyfriend or
Yeah,
whatever.
Connery.
Sure.
Me Connery. That was her name.
I kind of wish they like spent a little more time on it because I did think it was interesting, but it's weird. Like things either just fly by or they're like there for a while.
Yeah.
The pacing felt off. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, although I will say I did like that he is just absolutely a regular dude and then beats the shit out of basically everybody.
Yeah, he's just a regular dude who fights good.
yeah, he's just really good at fighting. And I quite enjoyed that.
Wait, so the like rival gang guy who used to be part of his
Hibitani?
gang? Sure. Why was he like using his name?
Because he said
Yeah, he said
something-
why.
Yeah, he said
What did
something
he
of the
say?
sort of that the gang would have broken up without him or
Yeah.
something. So he just like assumed.
Yeah, he
the
was like the
place.
family was gonna fall apart.
Yeah.
And they couldn't. They were gonna fall apart without you. Like without. So he was like, I needed to take up the name.
But like, don't people realize that's not the same guy?
Clearly not.
Like, are you
Because
guys?
they didn't
So,
do anything.
so when that first
I think
started
people
happening,
in the gang knew,
Kurozuma,
but
yeah.
it was more for
I think
like
the-
everybody
the
else
newer
who knew
people.
of it.
Yeah.
because I was thinking about it and I was like, oh, maybe his like power is that he can like alter his physical appearance.
No,
around
no,
others
because
or
everybody in the
something.
group doesn't have powers.
Oh, okay,
They're all level zeros except for when Connery was in.
gotcha. 'Cause she
and-
was a level 3, right?
Yeah, and then or level 2 at the time.
Right.
And then because she joins because she couldn't like level up at all anymore,
Right.
and she felt lost.
Right.
And then when they find out, he's like, you can't stay in this group, and she's like, but I have nowhere else to go, and he's like, okay, I guess. But yeah, I liked that story too. I thought it was very fun.
Yeah.
And
and I like her like red leather jacket. That was cute.
and she's just
Yeah.
a badass on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like her character a bit. I think she's very fun. And I like how she's constantly just annoyed that everybody shows up at the fucking judgment branch to hang out.
Yeah.
And anytime anyone's like, oh, sorry, can we help in any way? She just asks for a fuck ton of food.
Yeah. She's like, you know what? If you're gonna be here anyway, you might as well get me something to eat.
Also, when you guys brought up the new girl that like becomes friends, that's connected to.
Don't even know her name.
Yeah.
So unimportant.
Wait, the new girl?
Like the one that becomes her
Yeah.
roommate.
Oh, at the very end?
Yeah. And
Brown hair
She's
with
not
Bob.
in the second season, right? She's just gone.
I think she mostly stays with the kid, like recovery kids, and you see them when you see her when you see them, which is not very.
Because when I saw
often.
the poster for the second season, she was not standing in the
no.
background with that group, but I was like, wow, they ditched her real quick.
No, I think she becomes a background character.
Okay.
With the rest of the kids, but that's the only time in the show that they ever bring up what Ueharu's power is.
Yeah, where
She
she
never
can just
talks
heat
about it again.
stuff.
Yeah, she just keeps things at the same temperature that they are. And because the whole joke is that anytime anyone talks about, because in the past version, you see that she has less flowers on her headband. So
Right.
everybody assumes that her power has to do with plants.
Yeah, because they think because she's like, you guys know these don't grow out of my head, right?
Yeah. And people are like,
Wait, but
oh, you have
that's-
really good floral arrangements. And she's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, wait, why does she do that then?
Because she just like because
'Cause I was
everybody
confused by that.
assumes it is her power.
I know,
so
but-
she doesn't understand, but she doesn't understand why people think that.
Because
But
it's like
she's
an
not
accessory
even,
to her.
Yeah, but she's not even saying thank you. Like she just because I think it was the Midsummer Festival
Yeah.
or whatever. Like they were saying it, and
They
then
went into the flower room.
they were like, we like it, and she's like, what are you talking about? Like as if they don't fucking exist. I was like,
I
what
love
is she
I
talking
love
about?
that's like that scene because she's like, what do you mean? And it's just holding on everybody being confused and her being like surprised in a bit, and then it just cuts to them being on a frame and just keep like moving on because the whole point is that people think this is what's going on, and she never explains
Honestly,
anything.
the show kind of like makes it seem like that's her power too, because
I think that's the point.
in the flashback, when her and Shirai are like training to become part of the Goon Squad, I don't
Judgment?
know, yeah. Which
Goon
also,
Squad.
why is this city allowing literal children to be their police force?
So judgment is what they allow because
Before anti-skill.
Yeah, so anti-skill is like the adults. They have the fucking guns and everything. Judgment is supposed to be just like
Glorified hall monitors.
yeah, when they show what
But
Misa
like streets.
yeah,
on
when
the street.
they
Yeah.
show Misaka doing it, like when she's just cleaning up and helping
Yeah.
people find places around. It is specifically mostly just
You're
the fact that
You're
that
asking these 13-year-olds to get the shit kicked out of them.
But they're espers.
yeah.
I know, but still.
And also, like, for the most
then you
part,
have
they're not
somebody-
supposed to be the actual police. Like, Shirai is not really supposed to be the one
Right.
there
Yeah,
helping.
they beat people up way more often than they should,
Yeah.
and they're
But
even
it's-
told
yeah.
to not.
And it's mostly just because it's Shirai, the main character's, like,
Yeah,
friend,
whatever.
that is also a level 4, that she is out there stopping things.
Right.
Yeah.
But they're not really supposed to be doing
But yeah,
that.
so in that flashback, she has like just the couple of
Yeah.
flowers in her hair. So I was like, oh, maybe that's just the extent of her powers. She can just have flowers in her hair. Also, I'm confused. Which is her friend with the long
Sutton.
black hair?
Sutton.
Yeah. When
Zero
she,
powers.
I know, but when she did the level upper
Mm-hmm.
and she had like the leaves, what is it? What's her power supposed to be?
I assume
they
some
ever?
sort of like wind thing. Yeah, does
I-
she level up in the other seasons?
If she does, I don't remember.
Or
I
is
don't
there
think she
anything
does.
that's like? Can you look up if there's any like definitive? Because I didn't know if it was like controlling things or
I don't
wind
think
power.
because if she doesn't even level up in the other seasons, I don't think they cared to.
And also,
define it.
they
Yeah.
literally only ever mention what Sutton, or Ueharu's ability is.
that
once.
one time, yeah.
And it's not to her friends. Like, it's to the
Yeah,
girl.
it's to blonde,
I mean, it is her
brown
friend,
hair
but-
girl with Bob.
Yeah. But so like, which I think is really funny because I believe like at some point in the show there's like certain background jokes of characters delivering stuff, and when it's not Ueharu, they're like, oh, it's cold.
That's cute.
Yeah. So-
I like little things like that.
Yeah, so I think if I remember correctly, that's like a little joke where people don't put it together. They're just like, oh, it's cold. But if Ueharu gets to them, they just drink it without thinking about it.
Yeah.
I also really like Sutton. Like, I mean, I think she has that little like downgrade arc where she kind of gets full of herself, but
Yeah.
because she just gets down and she's like, I want to be stronger and help my
Yeah.
friends that can
I
do
thought
shit.
that was the most interesting, actually.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
I
because
think,
you're
I think
13
it makes
years
sense.
old
Yeah,
and you're just trying your best.
it actively makes sense. But I like her character. I think she's fun and like I like that she is when they're having that little like back and forth when they're talking about the poltergeist events, and they're like, don't let people think that this is, and she's like,
it's paranormal.
It's ghosts. It's from the other dimension, and she's like fully in on all fucking bullshit
like,
urban legends.
We don't want irresponsible rhetoric being put out there on the streets.
Like her whole deal is just that she buys into all that shit, regardless of what's going on, and I love it. And she's almost always right.
Yeah.
Like the level upper, the undresses, like she was like on it for all of them.
Oh, also for Pigtails, what's her name?
Kuroko.
Shirai.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Shirai.
Shirai.
Same difference.
Yeah.
I don't know if this was just me, but I was getting a little annoyed that every hunch she had was correct.
Why? She's supposed to be smart.
Yeah,
I
her whole deal is that she is smart.
I know she's supposed to be smart, but I was like, you can't just be like, here's this extremely vague clue.
Sure.
Now here's the answer.
Yeah. I guess that's fair.
I
I
was-
didn't think
it-
more of it. Probably because I was too busy being mad at her for being such a fucking pervert all the time.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was a little bothersome because it just doesn't feel like, I don't know, she's weirdly like not fleshed out for being even more of a main character than like,
I liked her power though.
yeah, I
That
liked her
was
power
cool.
too. Then the other two friends, like the one with the flowers.
Yeah, the
and
teleportation power.
Yeah.
Rad.
But yeah, I feel like her and Misaka, I felt like were not very like fleshed out characters. It was weird. They were just like, they weren't not fleshed out, but
I
I
feel
don't know.
like
I
they
just
were
kind of thought there would be more of them.
Yeah, I guess I kind of get what you mean. Like they just there was no like development or anything like that. They just
they
were
s-
there like
like-
that, and
Like
that's
Shirai
it.
starts off cocky and a piece of shit and ends cocky and a piece of shit. Like she doesn't change at all.
I view that more as just like there's not the arcs. They just are these characters dealing with these situations because they're 12 to 16-year-old people that are probably not changing all that much in their viewpoint of how
Right.
things happen.
I
Especially
feel like
when you're
only
a fucking
Sign
level
changes.
4. Yeah.
Yeah.
But especially when you're a fucking level 4 or level 5 and you think you're hot shit. Well, Misaka doesn't.
Yeah.
She deals with shit, but she doesn't think she's the best. But Shirai definitely does.
So in the later seasons, you meet the other level 5s. Do they have like a level 5 like fight?
Level 5 off.
Yeah, level 5 off, level 5 tournament.
The entire next season is about the
level
number
5
is
tournament.
about the level 1, level 5.
The number 1 level
Yeah.
5. Gotcha.
Oh, I was like,
Or not the entire season, but it
Is
is
it
a
the
big
blonde
point.
chick?
No.
oh, thank God.
Fucking hate her. She sucks. She's under Misaka
Okay.
in rank.
And
I
what is it?
think.
7 total in the city.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I believe in the next season you meet at least 3 of them. You
Also-
meet the number 1, and then you meet, I think, the level 5 or number 5 and number 7, I think.
So you know how they talk about like having kids
I don't think the
that
blonde
are
girl
like
shows up until the 3rd season.
Why the fuck is she on the poster?
Oh, then I never mind. I'm remembering wrong then.
Hmm.
She's not a big deal at least until I think she's like a main character for the 3rd at least.
so you know how they talk about like how the city will like take care of like groups of kids if they like don't have parents or something.
Yeah.
I was a little confused because I don't know if this is just how they're saying
The
it. and
human
then-
errors or whatever.
Yeah, they kept
Child errors.
child errors, and I was like, I didn't know if that was just something wrong they were saying, but I was like, what's the error? I'm very confused.
That they were born.
That they were seriously.
That
but
was the
also,
error.
I was like, wait, why?
I think
don't,
that the system let them down.
But then I was like, wait, why don't you have? Where the fuck are your parents? Were they just like, you know what? The city can take care of you now. This is foster care. Like,
No, I think they say it's like that they were either abandoned or their parents died or stuff like that, and then they use them as experiments.
yeah, you love to see it.
So, it all works out in the end.
Ugh.
There's a lot that goes into building that kind of stuff in the next season. Like I
Yeah.
said, I think the next season is much stronger. But as much as technically you're starting not from the beginning with Railgun, it would be much weirder to just jump into the second season because a lot of it kind of builds
need
off
the
of what, yeah,
backbone.
a lot of it builds off of what you learn in the first season about like the connected minds building a network and stuff like that. Like a lot of that stuff leads into what is important in the second
Yeah.
season.
Also, when we have that, when Misaka has that flashback, that like shared flashback with the first science lady,
Yeah.
and it's like the little girl who's like, oh, teacher, blah blah blah, right? And then when the girl's like, I trust you completely, I was like, it's not gonna end up well. It is not ending up well.
Yeah.
This kid is dying today.
I will say, the last like episode it did almost catch me in the feels where they're like, you know, they finally like wake up and they're all happy and the teacher starts crying and she's like, you know, I knew we could believe in you. And then when the jump comes, when they're like, you know, on the balloon and they're like, get better, and I'm just like,
yeah,
oh.
that on that balloon was really
happy birthday.
Yeah, that happy birthday was really sweet.
I was like, damn, I am getting old. This shit almost made me cry.
Yeah, I thought that was very
pretty
sweet.
bad.
I don't know about making me cry, but it was very sweet.
I was just like, oh, that's nice.
Like, I mean, like, I don't know. Like, I think it's getting easier for me to like feel like I'm going to cry. Like, I didn't cry, I didn't shed any tears, but like I felt like you know, where you're like,
it's like in your chest.
yeah, and you're like,
you feel,
oh, like that's adorable. That's so cute and sweet.
I feel like I cry pretty easy now, like because of stuff. It was not one.
But I also like this show, I think, a bit more than you,
fair.
I guess. But also, anime kids do me in almost all the time. They're so fucking good at making kids adorable.
I do think the kids are really cute. I think I just detest children so much that I'm like, yeah, whatever.
Also, that whole episode with the dorm supervisor where they're trying to set her up.
I
my
thought that was
God.
so dumb. Like, I wish I could have skipped it. How many episodes was that? It felt like
It was just
fucking.
one, wasn't it?
felt
It was
like
one
forever.
episode.
It
But
literally felt like forever.
So when they were trying to set her up with this guy, I was like, okay, it's going here. But then he's like, they meet at that restaurant, right? And he's like, how would you feel about like if
I thought
a
he was
younger,
trying to
you
set
were
her up
trying
with someone else.
you were trying to like marry a younger guy, right? And she would be like, oh, that sounds great, right? I was like, nope.
It's not
nope,
you.
It's not you, bitch.
It's not you. It's the old lady
I
from the
thought-
fucking
She
thing.
wasn't that
I thought
old.
it was
She looked like she was
She was
older.
probably like
she did look
50.
she was old. I thought it was gonna be the opposite. I thought he was asking for a friend, and like so it was his friend that's interested in her, and it was gonna be. I knew it wasn't gonna be that
Yeah.
it was them two. I just thought it was.
But
the
then she,
opposite.
And
like,
she
got
actively is just
dressed-
fucking cracking Kuroko's neck every time she does
she
anything.
deserved it.
She's just killing that bitch every
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. But during that, and then she like gets like all dressed up to like be like, yeah, let's get married, and I was like, it's a mistake.
I know. At least she didn't have to embarrass herself though.
Yeah,
right?
she did.
Like he never found
she
out
handled
that
it
that
like
was
a
it.
champ.
Yeah.
I'll be honest.
Yeah.
She took out her glasses and went, okay, and
Yeah.
walked over and was like,
Glasses
all right,
back
kids,
on.
what are we doing?
Yeah. Good for her.
So, you know, she did handle it like a champ.
But like, ouch. That is
Is there
brutal.
curfew in the middle of the day? Because when they're playing
I
video
think
games, they're like, "What the fuck are you doing out here? Go!"
I think it's like, you know, where
Maybe-
their
maybe
curfew's
it's
like
like-
5 or something.
I was gonna say
so
maybe
it's still
like a dinner time curfew.
yeah, it's like
Maybe.
enough time that you're supposed to be able to get back before it's dark.
because I assume like because they
So it's probably like a 30 minutes to an hour before.
because they
sundown.
live at the dorms, right?
Yeah.
And like the dorms, I assume feed them, and they probably have like a scheduled like breakfast, lunch, and
Yeah.
dinner or
Yeah.
whatever. So the curfew must be so you can get there to actually eat it, or else you just starve for the night.
Well, that or it's that you are supposed to have already eaten and you're just supposed to get home to sleep or
Right.
study or whatever. Because it's definitely because they mention when it's dark out that they're like, you're supposed to be home already.
Also, how come some of the kids have like regular apartments and some kids live like on the dorms?
I think that they are still dorms. They just look like apartments.
Oh, okay. Because that was getting really confusing. I was like, why do some of the kids just have like apartment buildings?
Yeah, I think that they are like on school grounds or at
Or like school
or
property.
Yeah, school property that just look like apartments.
Gotcha.
Also, a small nitpick, but I didn't like that they were forced to wear their uniforms even on days off.
Yeah, that felt
Because
weird.
Sain and Ueharu always had like cute outfits on.
I know.
And I was
felt
just
like that was a
upset
missed
that-
opportunity.
I
The
think-
outfits.
I think it's
that
specifically because Tokyo Udai is such an esteemed
I
school.
know, but I
Yeah.
thought that was a dumb fact to
But what
add
I feel
in.
like it
I
would
thought
have
that
been
it would
better
have
if
been
they
cuter
were like
if-
they had to wear like a little brooch or something. That was like,
Yeah.
this is the school we go to. Because like you're saying,
or
Sodden-
everybody has to wear their uniforms. Like I didn't like
Yeah.
that half of them could and wore cute outfits, and then half
I think
of
it's
them
because
couldn't.
the schools that aren't as fucking prestigious don't give a shit.
like
Yes.
because Sodden
That's why I
and
said small
Ueharu's outfits.
nitpick, but
And
like,
Sodden
on the
fucking puts in
vacation-
work.
So cute.
Yeah.
And Sodden puts in work after she has her whole like arc too. She starts fucking having that little thing where she's at like that training ground school.
Mm-hmm.
Starts working her ass off.
Yeah.
And I also, anytime you do see Misuka in regular clothes, they are like really kiddish clothes, like
Yeah.
the skirt, like short kind of stuff and whatnot. which I think is always kind of funny.
I did like the ongoing. She wears shorts under
the skirt. Yeah, I like
So
that
then,
too.
if the wind blows, you can literally see the
Well, also
shorts
she's
that are
mainly
there.
a kicker, so she
I
doesn't have to
also-
worry about it.
I don't know if it was just because of like the coloring, but they kept looking like I kept thinking to myself that they look like khaki shorts.
They basically were.
I thought they were.
And
I always
it
assumed
seemed
they
like
were.
such a strange choice because I was like, khaki isn't uncomfortable, but like as an underlayer, wouldn't you want something more breathable, like a basketball short?
I mean,
or
they
something?
didn't really put any details to it, but
No,
it
they
definitely
didn't.
was khaki.
But it had like a
colored.
khaki
I
vibe,
I
right?
always just kind of assumed it was.
Yeah, so I was just kept
They're like
thinking they were
khaki Sophie shorts.
Yeah, and Kuroko is always like, oh god, they're just so, and she's like, why do you care?
When she's wearing the maid outfit
With
and
still the shorts?
Yeah,
Yes.
there was another moment.
And she wore it with the
kimono?
Yeah, for the festival.
And she's
the
like,
fireworks.
you're not even gonna see it. And she's like, but I know that they're there. I was just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I think it's kind of like a funny thing, and plus it's like it's basically just anti fan service, which
Yeah.
is why Kuroko hates it. She's like, I want it for me.
Yeah.
And like
It bothered me more how much she said sissy than her being a pervert. Like it was so fucking annoying because it was just so
the
often.
sissy was throwing me off in the first couple of episodes.
I texted
and
him
I was
about
like,
this.
because
She-
the hair is relatively similar.
That's
color.
what I
So
said.
I was
That's
like,
exactly what I
hers
said.
is
And
red and hers is
No,
brown.
No,
no.
they're
Early on, it's not. They're
it's
really
very
similar. Yeah.
And so I was
said
confused,
the same exact
and I
thing
was
to
like,
him.
okay, so they're siblings. But then it had like her feeling her up in the shower, and I was like, we did just watch Chivalry of a Failed Knight, so like maybe this is the trend.
He told me he's just like, do not. It was like, you just
Literally, she,
right?
was
So I was like,
she literally was like, you recommended this show with like just blatant. I was like, you cannot do this.
I warned, and then because of this, and then he was like, it's not even a thing, and I'm like, you're calling this not even a thing? That he was like so desensitized to this. He's like, no, they're not fucking siblings, and I was just
I was like, they're not related
But
at all.
So then that like bathtub scene happened, and I was like, okay, sure, this is the trend now on
Sissy was
the anime.
not
club.
the right word.
And then
Like in the first or second episode, she's like, luck got us in the same room. And she's like, it
that
wasn't luck,
doesn't-
you cheated.
But that doesn't mean it can't be your sibling.
Did they,
No,
I think
absolutely thought
it
the
wasn't
same exact
until
thing.
it wasn't until she had said something about she had met the other friends, and she was like, "Oh, the new friends are younger than me," and something along she said something there that I was like, "Oh, they're not related."
I had to ask him.
Like
they're not. They're just
pricked my brain.
also because she never knew what she looked like as a kid or any of that stuff, and they bring it up, and they just, like when she sees the
Well, I
pictures
think I
and
texted
stuff. Like,
you in like the first episode,
Yeah.
like when I had just, or maybe
I
it
was
was the
gonna
second
say, I think they
episode.
were looking at like the baby photos way later on, right?
well, yeah, but I mean, like, I took a mental note of this too because I was like, oh, I'm gonna remember because I didn't start watching it until after you brought that up, and then I forgot already. So but like, I'm pretty sure there was a point in like.
I thought the same.
yeah,
fucking
it was
thing.
so bizarre. I was like,
It's
okay,
like- I think I texted being like, this bitch trying to fuck her sister. I was like, what is
I
this?
can find
wholeheartedly.
out.
Yeah, I was just like, what the fuck is going on?
But I don't know. I have fun with the show. I think it's fun.
yeah,
I thought it
I
had
think
its
it's like
moments, but then I thought it also was.
I was gonna say, I guess we can wrap it up. We're almost at an
Well,
hour.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's enjoyable to like turn your brain off.
So
High quality, turn your brain off stuff.
But you have to turn it on at some point.
I
It's on and off.
On and off.
just out of nowhere, like
You
I
don't need
hadn't
to be
texted her in like
hyper-focused.
3 days. She trying to fuck her sister. Michael, what is this? And I was like, what? There is no incest in this show. What are you talking about?
Michael, what is this?
And she was like, she said she wanted to go to the lingerie store and get an aphrodisiac and upscale discreet hotel with Sissy. And I was like, also, you made me watch Chivalry of a Failed Knight. Don't give me this shit when that had blatant incest. And she was like, are they not actual sisters? I was like, no, they're roommates. What do you mean?
Also, this was pissing me off that they had a coffee table in between their beds.
I like to think that Misika was
like
like,
a buffer.
yeah, Misika was like, all right, we're going to separate this even more.
But yeah, that kept bothering me. I was like, who puts a coffee table in between your beds? Like, that's so weird. That
I
seems
guess.
like you're just obstructing the path to get to your desks.
I don't know.
I didn't think a second thought about
Yeah.
that coffee
I
table.
didn't think about
Every
it
time
either.
I saw it, it was
No.
bothering me.
No, I was just like, all right, cool. That's their room.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
All right, well, I guess, Sage, do you give your
My rating and recommendation,
your final thoughts?
Final thoughts. I think this is a good show to like watch casually. You don't need to be like hyper focused on it, but it's definitely enjoyable. I think I'll give it a 7. That feels really fair. I would recommend it. It's fine. Like high tier average, I think is a good way to describe it.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was also mediocre, but on the higher level, I also would give it a 7. That's what I
Well, Mike, I think
determined.
this is one of the best scores you ever got.
No, I think Flip Flappers got a 7 as well.
Yeah, I think we're tied.
But
I thought you did
I told him I enjoyed Flip Flappers more than this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought it was more
we're
fun.
tied at the moment for best number I've gotten, which is 7.
I think the show could have been stronger if it was shorter
I agree.
because some moments I thought were an 8. Like if that was the whole show, I'd be like, okay, cool. But then there were some moments I was fucking bored as shit, and that's like a fine show, like a 6 show.
Right.
So that's why 7 because it's just
It's a good
both.
median,
Yeah,
I think.
it's both. So I think I'm actually gonna say I don't recommend it because it's so long. But I don't know. You're hyping up these other seasons, so if you do recommend season 2, or I doubt I'm just gonna watch it on my own because I have so many shows I need to get through.
I'm debating
currently.
whether or not I will go
So if
back
you
to back, but I
do,
think I will.
I might retract this if I think that it was needed for season 2.
Okay.
Like,
She'll
so-
retract her previous statements.
yes.
Okay,
right
well,
now I don't think so.
Putting no.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
no.
but in the future, when we record season
you can
2,
put a little note.
you'll have to put a note into this episode being
Yes.
like, she changed her mind, y'all.
Right. In 15 weeks.
Yeah, in
Yeah.
15 weeks.
Because you're saying that the other seasons are stronger, right? But I'm trying to determine if it actually was important to like watch
Right.
the season 1. So if we watch that and I think it was important, then I would retract it because obviously if you want to watch season 2 and if it is stronger and I think that, then obviously then I would recommend it to watch the next show. So yeah.
Right. Okay.
But right now it's a no.
Okay. I originally I'm looking at my original Mal rating. I originally gave this an 8.
Okay. Feels a little high, but okay.
Well, I was gonna say I think I would give it a 7 now.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at what I haven't changed it yet.
What's the rating like overall? The whole thing?
Overall 7.67. So almost 7.7.
Okay.
It's ranked at 1,224, and its popularity is 334. So it's not bad.
Yeah, no, that's not bad.
Definitely on the higher range compared to everything else that's on the fucking my anime list. I think it's very fun. I just think
Yeah.
it's a very fun show, and like I said, I think it does feel more mediocre, and it has those down moments. But I think that they are at least make sense that they exist. Do I think they could have been cut down or condensed more? Yes, but I think that they at least make sense in the fact that it is trying to just be a story about people that are in school living their lives, and sometimes there aren't exciting moments.
Yeah.
Is every season 24 episodes?
Yes.
I
think season 3 might be 25.
Is every season of Magical Index also 24 episodes?
I believe so. Hold on one sec.
I was gonna say that show must have popped the fuck off that they were
Did the
greenlit for a
spin-off, right.
24 episode spinoff.
Yeah.
Okay, so a certain scientific accelerator is 12 episodes. Season 1 and 2 of Railgun are 24. Season 3 is 25, and then both the first and second season of Index
Wait,
are
what the
24.
fuck is Accelerator?
That's like the
And-
third spin-off.
Yeah.
Of who?
And you meet him later.
Oh.
And
Interesting.
and then season 3 for Index is 26.
Damn, they really popped up with the fucking episodes on this show.
People like it. It makes it like and season
can't
3 of
believe-
both shows
You
came
said
out
this
recently.
Is JC Group?
Yeah, JC staff, yeah.
I just
JC
can't
staff.
believe nobody complained that the like pacing is weird and that it's.
Because
Maybe if you watch it week to week, it's like less.
I guess that's true.
Sloggy.
Accelerator
So
season
there's only one season of the
Yeah.
third spinoff. Was
Uh,
it recent? Is that why?
yeah, so Accelerator was 2019. Season 3 of Railgun was
Oh,
2020.
so that's been a
and,
while. So they're not greenlit for another.
And third season of Index was also 19.
So I guess people didn't like Accelerator.
Well, there are pretty big gaps between seasons. Like season 2 and season 3 of Railgun is 2013 and 2020.
Yeah,
Whoa.
but
And
the
then
fact-
Index
that's a
is
huge
11
gap.
is 2011
Are
and 2019.
they greenlit for Accelerator season 2 though?
But if there's a 7-year
so.
gap, like they might not have greenlit it yet, and it
But
might be like a later thing.
Two of those seasons came out in 2020. He said.
No, from two different things.
No, I know, but it's
Oh,
all
I understand.
like the people watching
Index-
are probably all
Index,
the same fans.
Accelerator, and Railgun are 2019 to 2020. And then, but there were 7-year gaps between the second season and third season for some of those. So
Yeah.
but
I forgot to say, but I thought the dub was very good on this show.
yeah, I like everyone's
Yeah,
voice.
I thought the dub was good too.
Yeah.
Also, I will say I did like the certain gag when with the upskirt flip. There was just one point where it doesn't even show like the skirt flip or anything. You just hear Sutton say it, and then it's just a quick like shitty like 1D version of Uwe Hart's doing this and making a sad crying face. I was like, that's funny to me. I don't know. But I don't know. Overall, I think it's fun. I think this universe is very good too, and I think that like it's all a very fun watch. I also I will say the reason why I love season 2 is because it introduces Accelerator, and I think he's a very interesting character. It's basically like if Superman was flawed, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Accelerator is a very interesting character, and I think that like basically the second seasons of both Railgun and Index really pick up, and then their third seasons are really, really good. I think their third seasons are the best of each respective show. But so I think they just progressively get better, and their animation gets insane. Like the third season for both of Index and Railgun are gorgeous to look at, and
well, those
shit's
are the
going off.
2020 ones, right?
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, I would recommend it. I still think you don't necessarily have to watch Index first. But like if you're trying to do this in order, go look up. You have to look it up. They go in a weird ass order. So I will say they are kind of annoying to watch if you're going in like timeline order. When I picked this up, I watched Railgun season 1 and 2, I think, because I don't think 3 was out, and then I watched Magical Index. So, and then I watched the rest of the third seasons and Accelerator as they came out.
Gotcha.
So if you're trying to watch them in order, you have to look it up. I couldn't fucking figure it out. And it's like certain episodes too.
I mean, nothing as bad as fucking Danganronpa, where I had to pull up 2 seasons at the same time, and you have to watch one episode on one season, and then you have to watch. There's a despair arc and a hope arc, and you have to interchangeably watch them. So you have to have.
I think I was gonna say I think technically there are moments where certain arcs happen at different times.
Yeah.
So you technically are supposed to swap, but you don't
yeah.
have to. Like because
Danganronpa, like you had to. That's what
you don't really have to. Like
to.
I think the most they really intersect is with the second season of Railgun, which is it's from the 2 points of view of Misaka and Toma interacting with what's going on. But I think Railguns is a little more interesting version of it because it is so more closely connected to Misaka than it is Toma. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't know. So yeah, I would give the show a 7. I still think it's solid, but it's definitely weaker than the following seasons. And
I can't believe we all agreed on a rating.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I would recommend it. I think that this series of shows is like a very like if you just want something that you can just start watching. And you want something that's long form, I think the certain series is a very good thing for that. It was the first long form show that I had watched after getting back into anime, where I was like, oh shit, there's a bunch of shit I can just watch from this. So I think it's very good for that. If you're looking for something long form that you can just kind of watch in the background, I think it's very good for that personally. So yeah, those are our thoughts. Here's the group average rating,
And
now Sage.
Yeah. I'm going to apologize in advance because
Dude,
no. The only reason why I'm
Handshake
apologizing.
season 2. I don't
No,
know if
no,
there's
no.
a season
There
two.
is a season 2.
Is there?
Yes.
I
Where it's
forgot
his
it.
son.
I forgot
It's
it
his
did.
son.
I forgot it got a second season.
Yeah, it looks just as bad, but I'm
Oh
not
my
doing
God,
that to
thank
you
God.
guys. The only reason why I'm apologizing is because I watched this show when I was like 13, 14 in my edgy phase, and I liked it then. I have no memory of what happened in that show.
I mean, that's fair. We're going in order of like recommending years ago things and then seeing what it's like.
Yeah, so I just know I really liked the character designs, especially. I can't tell you if it was good or not because I don't remember at this point.
Okay.
But it's vampires. I was 13. What do you want from me? So yeah, we're gonna watch Trinity Blood. It's 24 episodes. I remember it being very pretty at the time. I don't know like how well the animation stands up at this
Let me
point.
see this shit.
Yeah, I'll pull it up. I just want to
But yeah, I was like obsessed with it when I was
I've never
in
even
middle
heard
school.
of this one.
I think they used to play it late night on Toonami.
Mm-hmm.
Is how I watched it originally.
Apparently, a certain scientific accelerator is greenlit for a second
Okay.
season. We just don't know anything about it.
Anyway,
Anyway, one more time.
Synopsis.
Yeah, one more time. What was it called?
A Trinity Blood.
Thank you.
I can't give you a synopsis. I have literally no memory of what
Okay,
happens.
do you want me to pull it up?
Okay.
Do you want
I
me to
know
pull it up?
there's vampires and there's like vampire cops or something along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
What?
I'm just looking at the fucking art.
I remember liking
Wow,
it.
it looks good.
As
I mean, it's got at least a 7.3. So there's.
hey, all
All
right.
right.
I don't know if any of this is like a spoiler for the synopsis.
All right, maybe spoilers for the synopsis. Who knows? Not me.
Following Armageddon and apocalyptic war. Following Armageddon and apocalyptic war, because I guess those are
Isn't that,
inherently
like,
the same
synonymous?
things. Mankind faces yet another menace: vampires.
Yeah,
I'm good. That's the whole synopsis I need.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
There was Armageddon. They now face vampires.
Yeah.
All right.
That's
cool.
that's your.
Nice.
Sure. Yeah. 24 episodes. R17 plus for violence and profanity though. No nudity.
Oh, rip.
Yeah. Wow. Way to choose a lame fuck. Oh, hey, it's Gonzo. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I get to hear Gonzo at the beginning of every
Oh,
episode.
I forgot to mention this. The Universal
Wait,
Studios.
what the
Yeah.
fuck was
Every
that?
episode
Yep.
threw me off.
But also, it's so much louder than
It
the
is
rest
the
of the
loudest
fucking
thing
show.
in the world every time.
Yep. Universal Studios is distribution rights
That's
for
so bizarre.
for all of the certain series.
That's so weird. And I remember on the first episode, I was like, "Wait, did I click on the wrong thing?"
I was like, this doesn't seem right.
Yeah. Universal is one of the producers.
That's so weird to me.
I think it's the only show I can think of that has that too.
Yeah, no, and it's not even just like a quick little like Universal
No,
thing.
it's,
like
it's
the
their
whole thing.
movie
It's
thing.
the
their
whole
like,
thing.
here's the big budget blockbuster movie
Yep.
opening. It was
They don't have a short version.
It was really weird though.
I kind of like it. It's funny to me every time where I'm
No,
like,
it's
Universal. Anyway, girls.
yeah. Anyway, cute middle school girls.
I think it's funny every time.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, some like big wigs somewhere had to put the stamp on this.
It just threw
and then
me-
there's 14-year-old girl in fucking like nothing bathing suit, and you're like, all right.
It just threw me
Universal
for
approved.
such a loop, and I was like, "What?"
A
is-
group of kiddies on a 12 to 13-year-olds, Universal approved.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right. Hey, so we're doing Trinity Blood.
yeah.
Joy. Boy, does
Who knows?
this
It might be good.
2005.
Who knows?
It might be good.
Who knows?
2005, huh?
Don't knock it till you try it.
I mean, we gotta try it.
Yeah, you're forced to.
Yeah, I was
We
like,
sure
there's
do.
no
Hey, well,
choice.
at least the licensors are Funimation, so
Yeah,
it's probably on Crunchyroll or Funimation.
yeah, and the dub should be okay then.
2005, questionable. So yeah, hey, you have 5 weeks to watch Trinity Blood. Congrats.
Woohoo!
So yeah, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, leave a review, like, follow. Let us know if you agree or disagree with us in the comments about the show and your thoughts. I think Satan and or Misako is best girl of the show.
Like Satan.
Uehara, I love her.
I thought she was cute.
She's cute.
too.
she's
but-
so cute. She's trying her absolute best. Come
Yeah.
on.
She really is. She has those moments, and I love the voice actress voice for
Yeah,
her.
she has a. I really like the voice actress for her. It suits her very well.
Yeah,
I
and I
thought
love the way
so,
she says Satan.
Yeah.
Like the weird
Yeah.
like inflection she has
Well,
on
I think
it.
that was I think her name is Cherami Lay is her name. She does a lot of voices. She's in a ton of shit. She's Lucy in Fairy Tales. She's Asuna in SAO. I think that this was like a much better character for her. It feels a little off when I hear her talking as like Asuna and stuff. I just watched
Like it doesn't
the movie
suit
with
the like visual.
Yeah, I feel like it doesn't. But Ryan said he's only ever seen her as Asuna, so he's like, I think this fits. So it might just be like throwing me off because I've heard her in other things. But
She's in. I mean, a lot of
is
the
that her
main
name?
act. Yeah,
Jeremy Lee?
Yep.
Yeah,
A lot
she's
of the
in
main
it.
actors are in fucking everything. The
Yeah.
voice for Misika does the same voice always.
Every time.
Every
Yeah.
time I watch any show, I'm like, hey, it's Misika.
Wait, and I'll just complain about it at a different time. But
Okay.
why this came up because
Oh,
of fucking
yeah.
Eminence and Shadow.
Yeah,
I'm
sure
still mad
did.
about it.
Well, hey, so yeah, don't forget to check out Kat the Moonstar on Twitch, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.